doing? And he sold it to.
Woo!
He
That's
sold
a
it.
big head, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Jullie took a glitsluk then, hè?
Yes, it's nice. This is bad. Doesn't it take? Doesn't it bring out the Boxburg in me?
As long as it doesn't bring out Secunda.
Okay, this is
Magic.
this is gonna be dangerous.
Nah, John.
With you.
I'm 37.
You're such a big like
I'm 37, I swear my life.
You.
I was born 1983. No, you guys are much older than me, probably 10 years. And you haven't raced in how long?
I've been knitting jerseys.
When you got a race car, no. When you got a race car, they think you f***ing loaded. That's the thing. But the difference is, everything we earn, we chuck into these things. Secunda's rough. Secunda's like fucking Danville. Yeah.
Joel's dad had a cafe there. He was a
Yeah, but Joel's he's a porra. He probably fucking sold fruit and veg.
Don't change, must have cappies.
You don't get change, you take the
Cappy guys.
You also have a shop like that.
What are we looking at, Jess? The readers, some of our readers.
It's a Mazda. It's a Mazda. They don't actually exist in our country. The four that's here, I think there's 4 or 5 in this country. They actually call in Oz and Brazil, Puerto Rico or somewhere, they call them a Mazda 12 or 1300 Familia.
Okay.
So they call them in Oz, they call them it's a Mazda 1300 wagon. Racing Boys sold it to Arthur Hubert, Mr. AJ Racing himself. So I knew about the car, but no one knew about the car because the car was parked at his house at the back under a little sail keep. So I knew the car wouldn't go anywhere because no one actually knew about the car. So I said to him when everything started, I said, I think we must chuck a rotary in that thing and check if we can run a number with it. And he says, yeah, we always talk, and I don't think he ever took me serious. I went to him straight, I said, listen, I want that kariki, what you going to charge me? And he gave me a figure. I said, sharp deal, can I go fetch it? So we brought the car back home and we started working on the car. That was in February this year, just before lockdown.
How long did it take you to build?
February, I didn't work on the car for about 2 months, one and a half months in lockdown.
Lockdown build?
It's definitely
100 plus days.
It's definitely a lockdown build. Definitely. The car was bought just before lockdown, and it was done about 3 weeks ago. But
yeah.
I think it's gonna scratch your bum there, the fin. Now there we go.
Jeez, you and I are the same size, yeah, man.
I think my legs are a little bit. Yeah, I think my legs are just a little bit taller. So
No,
you
you're
fit in there
tall,
lekker.
yeah.
You can feel the clutch. I think drives. You might be a little short.
No,
Where's the clutch?
I am. Secunda. This is awesome, man. You feel snug in here, man?
No, you don't. Let me close the door. You feel the knop. It's not lekker.
Oh, fuck, no.
Yeah, you see? You see?
It's a bit close.
It's not lekker. It's not lekker.
It takes me back to the Uno days, I'm going to be honest.
No, remember the car was built just 3 weeks back and we had some issues. The first time the car was driven was on Wednesday with the testing with Rian. This car was never driven. I've never gotten in the car unless except off the dyno and doing a burnout to check if the tune is clean, which obviously was.
Smallest cabin you've been in?
By far. By far, it's not nice. And every time they close the door, they move my arm between the steering wheel and the seat. I made a bit more effort on the aesthetics on the interior rather than the engine bay. I got a good friend that stays a few houses from me who helps me on the engine. He comes here and he welds. We have a dop and we care and he helps me out a lot. Nikki from MRP. And then on the interior, I thought, let me do something nice on the interior. Then it doesn't look dan gaan hy nie afsteek nie. It won't look bad to the car. So when you look on the inside, you can actually see there's a little bit of effort with the carpets and the ribbing and the cage and the dash, and I try to stick to the theme. But it's difficult sticking to a theme like this because you don't actually know where you're fitting in or where does it work, does it not.
That's what makes it so awesome.
Yeah, so it is what it is. The problem with this car is there's no spares available for it. There's no spares at all.
What are you talking about?
I can't find windows. I can't find windows for the car, and that's the reason I put Lexan. It's not to make it a dragster. It's because I can't find glass, and to go and have glass cut is going to cost you a fortune.
Is the windscreen Lexan?
Lexan, everything's Lexan. I don't like the Lexan because it scratches, and that's why it's so blurry because I put a film over it.
Oh, I see what you say. So you protect so that it doesn't scratch.
So this, I can actually later I pull it off. So then it's fresh, and it sort of finishes the car off. Imagine if the car didn't have carpets on the inside, it would have had only maybe stone chip paint or blacked out. It doesn't quite give the effect. Because the car is so tiny, the guys that understand the rotaries know that the rotaries starter actually sits on the passenger side. And my gearbox links, the way the gearbox is designed, the links for the gears sit on that side, and the balancing's in the way, and then we couldn't fit the starter in. And then I tried to fit it on the driver's side, but on the driver's side my clutch pedal is right against the firewall, so there's no space either. So we had to make a top mount starter, and I cut that firewall maybe 6 times because I couldn't wait for everything. So I thought, let me cut it, I think it's big enough. And then Tyron and Kyle from Full Race made me an awesome balancing, machined everything out, and when we got it back here, God, lo and behold, the tunnel was too small, so I had to cut again. Now the car's got carpets already, so what do you do now? So I thought about, what are we going to do now? So we cut it open, and I thought, let me just get a plate and make it like the dash. Weld it together, leave the open welds there, and grind it off like the car, and I put that thing over there. And so when you work on the car, when you've got starter issues, you just unbolt those 7 bolts, and you can get easy access.
Convenience for you.
Yes, so it actually worked out nicely. But at the time when you get here and you put everything in and you want to fit the starter, you say, here's another hiccup, now we're going to struggle again. Then you sit down, have a talk,
but I think
work
that's
around
the beauty.
problem.
That's the beauty about building race cars. Yeah. A lot of the customers being lost to this new generation because they haven't done what you've just did. Who has the pleasure of coming back swearing and then trying to make it work?
Yeah, but the swearing is not the fun part. The fun part is sitting down, calming down, having a dop and thinking about it, and then you get a epiphany and say, hey, kom ons doen dit. Dink dit gaan kwaai lyk, ek weet nie gaan dit werk nie. Ag fuck dit, ek gaan dit afval doen. So we do it. So, and eventually it comes out better than you expected, and you sort of look at it and you say, it's actually a good idea. It worked out quite nicely. So
every build you've had must have been a memorable one.
No, they are. They for sure. They definitely. Hence the little plaatjie I put on the car. It's not to say to anyone who's out there who've bought a car that I'm looking down on you or saying I can do this. That's not what it's about. That little spanner that's on there just resembles this was done by me.
Your personal.
It's my own little personal touch. It's not just saying to anyone, but you've built a car or you've bought that or you this. Or, it's not what it's about at all. The idea behind that is actually to get a trend going. I actually want to replace that little plaatjie and phone up the guys who's got the wagon and the other cars and say, can I give you the plaatjie? Yours is number 1 and yours is number 2, mine is 3 and that one's 4. And that's actually what it's about. It's not to say that I'm looking and saying, you buy a car. It's not. It's totally not at all.
It's a personal thing. We all just for the sport to take us away from real life.
It becomes so addictive that you just want to work on the thing the whole time. So you must find the balance where you gotta look at the family enough and spend enough time with them, and then coming to get into the garage or go to the shop or wherever and do your things. But here, when we're together, the wives come with, they carry there in the house, or it's nice. So I've got a few friends that's helped on this car. Most of them, a few of them is Christian Libber, we call him Plaus, magic guy, good with his hands, and the other one is Mr. Rohan standing over there, new addition to the family. But it's friends with a purpose. It's not a friend who you phone up and say, are we going to have a dop? It's a friend who you phone up and say, hey Tom, gaan ons bietjie in die kar werk, gaan ons bietjie... It's nice. It's nice having guys like that. And then we got Arthur, who stays just up the road.
Giving it some 2 steps still. See if he's gonna take it. Plain and simple, ek gooi die voet oop, that's it. Want ek kan nou die op 15 grade timing wegvat.
Dit kan nie die lug wees dat hy net so vir side bou nie.
Ja, die air is baie bakkie. Ek wil weer sien fokkery, nou kyk reg die plak. No, it doesn't want to bolt boost. There's no boost, so it bolts. Fucking the boost doesn't want to go up, so I don't know what the fuck. I don't want 2 PSI, bro. We don't know if it's in 2 PSI. Here is then, bro. Sorry, this is. Clear them. What's the RPM? 10 days.
Let's touch on the engine. What internals?
Let me phone Arthur because I've got no clue. If you ask me what a 2J is, I'll tell you, but I've got no clue. I know it's got seals in it. I know it's got water seals and it's got apex seals and side seals. What make they are, I've got no clue. Gave the engine to Arthur and I told him, here's the engine. This is what we want to do. And he built me an engine. He said, all right, I'm going to put you a 272 cam in there. So he put me a nice cam in there. You'll hear the idling and it goes bop, 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 bop. So that's as much as I know.
And pistons?
I don't know, they're round. Other than that, I don't know anything about the engine internals. I don't even know how a rotary works, to be honest.
So you know what? In other words, the readers need to read the article.
But Arthur, I'll trust no one else to build the engine than Arthur. No No one else ever. There's no chance. Arthur builds the engine and he maintains the engine.
Did he decide the
No, this is what.
turbo what?
No, Arthur built me the engine.
Yeah.
We, me and Nikki had a discussion, and we haven't got a lot of space. As you can see there, the firewall sits right here. There's the original firewall of the car.
Oh yeah.
So imagine if we had to move the engine all the way back, where the bell housing sits right at the back.
Yes.
The engine would have sat right here. So there wouldn't be any space for a proper cooler. And this is still moderately small, or a proper radiator. So we had to cut away and make fit, and the intake it just came to our head, and I said, let's build it like this. Put some ram tubes on the inside.
Did Arthur tell you what size turbo?
I had this lying around.
Okay.
I had this lying around, and we chucked it on there. I don't even know what make it is.
Yeah.
I know it's a hybrid. It's 76.
Okay.
It's 76 in front cast, normal cast wheel, and it's a 76mm wheel at the back. So it's not a fancy turbo. It's not a proper turbo. It's not a turbo that you'd put on a 8-second or a low 9-second car, because it's not what's desired. But I had it, so I'm not going to spend money.
You took this car out about a week ago.
Yes, we went out.
What was your times?
We actually went out on Wednesday. We're testing with Rian and them. We went 10.5 twice. And the first run off the trailer, the boost pipe came off. This boost pipe gave us a lot of problem. It kept on coming off. So I changed the clamps. When we got it right, it went 10.50.
And you're happy with the setup?
No, the setup's 100%. There's nothing wrong with the setup
Yeah.
on the engine. Everything here, the car stays cool. Everything is nice.
Yeah.
The turbo smokes a bit when you back off, but it's rotary, 2-stroke. It must
Race-
smoke. It must
race
smoke.
car.
Hashtag race car. What Arthur actually done is we went to the dyno. We went twice. We had enough injector, according to me, and according to him, in a way, he was skeptical, but not really an issue. We went to the dyno and we cranked and we dynoed, and we went to 1.2 bar boost, and we fell short of fuel. So I redesigned the whole fuel system, because I think there was we put a fuel cooler in there and we had a restriction. So I had to take everything out and redo the whole fuel system, and then on top of that I added 2 injectors. Just added one night quickly when it came back from the dyno, put back and went back the next day. And we went 2 bar boost. And I can't tell you what horsepower. If I must thumb suck, I'd say 500 horsepower.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lie if I'm gonna lie if I give you a number. It's a Microtech LT9C.
Okay.
Normal LT9C. So Arthur at the dyno, when we ran the car 2 bar, and then I walked away, and he actually, without me knowing, turned the boost down. So we went to the track on Wednesday, and I ran the number, and I said to him, hey, you ran 10.5 at that much boost, and he just kept quiet, without me knowing, because the car wants to go, but I can't handle the car because it doesn't want to go straight, and it's not nice going on a track and you're not driving on rails, you're going all over the show. He said to me, I don't know, you crazy, how do you drive that car like that? I say, you can't come here to the track and just not at least run a 10, we have to run something, at least a little bit respectable. So after the second run, we didn't change anything, and the car picked up 7 k's an hour just by a little bit less aggressive driving style and feeding instead of coming off and going back on, instead of easing off and going back.
But you are an aggressive driver.
Yes, and that's the problem with a car like this, where it's not, if it's built and it's lacquer and the suspension is sorted, you can go. But when it's not sorted, it becomes dangerous.
You need to,
So I came back from the second run and he logged the stuff. He said, happy days. He said, the boost is here and there. I said, oh, well, what do you mean the boost is there? Doesn't it want the boost? He says, no, man, I turned the boost down by the... I said, you sneaky bugger. So he took everything down. He took the timing away. So there's a lot left in the engine. The engine is magic. During lockdown, to spend 20,000 Rand on a paint job didn't make sense. And then there's weight. It doesn't weigh a lot, but this car's got a lot of marks, and all that there, it used like a patina, but it was filled with body putty.
But that's what makes it unique.
Yes, but it's filled with body putty, and body putty with paint. I don't know what it weighs, but let's say it's 10, 15 kgs.
Yeah.
Minimum. So.
And you couldn't afford to have that all and still have...
No, we got a rotary, we don't have a 2J. Sorry, I'm Arthur, but there's no talk.
And we were all eating during lockdown, so you had to,
Yeah, we had to buy, we had to save some money for the DOP, because the DOP was going at $500 a bottle. So, yeah. I thought it would be unique, because no one's done it in the drag scene. I can't recall a car being done like this. And the car's painted about... It was one of the first things that was done. So yeah, that was the thought behind it.
Wheels were already on the car?
No, that I made. Those were skinnies, and the back ones I made them wider. It saves money.
Yes.
A set of rims is $5,000.
Yeah.
Toyotas or whatever, it's normal rims, and it's another $5-6 grand, give or take, to broaden and narrow. So it costs you 11,000 Rand for the rims, whereas you go and buy drag rims. Skinnies alone are more than that.
This is your first rotary?
No, this is the third one. It's the first one that we gonna actually race. When we get there, we talk about it. And I think there's a big void in the rotary world. If I look at the piston cars, they go fairly quick. And the rotaries, the record, the H pattern record in the country, I think sits at a 9.69, which is held by Prashant. Prashant Singh, you know him very well. He's got that white Pearl Escort with the News Tire Services on the side.
Okay.
He actually has the stick record in the country with a 969. And my aim, along with Arthur's knowledge, is one, to go there. All over the world, H patterns are recognized. They are recognized class on their own. 2 years back, Joel Granas actually just nipped the record just now, a few weeks or a month ago. He nipped the record, and those guys aren't third world records, and they get recognized H pattern right across the world. Only not here by us, and it should be recognized here as well. It should be recognized. H pattern guys are if you speak to the racers in the States, if you speak to friends of yours, I'm sure you've got a lot of Honda guys in there. All those guys are H pattern. Speak to those guys and ask them about rear-wheel drive H pattern guys. They'll tell you straight right off the bat, those guys are badass as hell. They have the utmost respect for H pattern guys in the States. I've never learned. I'm too scared to drive with a flat shift. I actually call it a power shift. It's not actually a flat shift, it's a power shift. You keep the accelerator flat, and when you got a shift, you just hit you don't press it, you stop the clutch, just like this, and as you do that, you're shifting. That's called a power shift, and there's not many guys who can do that, but you can hear them. There's few guys that get it fairly close, and Marius is one of the guys that, and Johan Minnaar can actually do that very well as well. There's a few guys who can do it, but I've never tried it because I'm too scared of breaking gearboxes. When you do things on a budget, there's certain things you can't do on a budget, like a diff, like a H-pattern gearbox, like a clutch and a prop shaft. Those things are things that you don't do on a budget, because when you do them on a budget, you're just going to break them, and you're going to have to pay them again. So I'd rather take a little bit of bread and milk money from the kitchen and get a clap from the wife later or 2 days later, and get the right part where it's needed. It's like an essential service. A diff is an essential service. There's no way you're getting around a diff. There's no way you're getting around a weak prop shaft. It's gonna explode. It's a matter of time. So all of us, I think, at this stage are budget racers. All of us. We're making work with what we got in the situation. So it's difficult, and those guys are already getting missed. Most of the guys are already getting missed. Yeah. There's faces we see at the track. It's always the same faces. the die-hard guys. It's not to say that the other guys aren't die-hard guys. I think the other guys at this stage are pulling a little bit more strain, or their priorities are a little bit more aligned than ours. But we certainly miss every single guy at the track, and there's a lot of them that haven't been at tracks, that has been at tracks in the past.
Because you're seeing a lot less of drag
Purpose
cars
built.
being built versus PlayStation.
Yes, I think I'd say yes and no. I don't know how to explain it. I think the guys out there today, there's a big rant about the Golf 7Rs and the GTRs and all those type of things, and there's people out there with a lot of money. Even though we're going through tough times, there's guys with a lot of bucks, and there's guys who's got those things, and they go quick. Let's be honest. Scotty, I think Scotty went 9.97, 9.9.
Low. Did he get?
Yes, he went 9 at
in the nines,
yes.
low nines. Eh?
He's in the 9s with a 7R, and that was a long time ago already. If I'm not
That's
mistaken, a
money
year and a half.
spent, eh?
That's
That's-
money spent. But he went 9.9, and that's so lacquer with that thing. I mean, how lacquer is that thing to drive? I can only imagine going to the shop with or low 10-second Golf 7R or whatever the case may be. The drive is normal. There's no issue. You got a bit of software. It's a little bit more heavy on juice, but your drive's not shit. The drive in this thing's shit. Let's be honest.
But this
It's
is like,
shit.
This is a custom.
There's no way of getting around it. I can't build something like Scotty and them has, and the 7R guys have. There's no way getting that drivability and that comfort in something like this. But you can still go to the shop. Yes, it's a lot of fun, but it's only fun for so long because you can only do so much on the road with it. And don't think that the PlayStations don't cost that much money. I think the PlayStation in general costs more than building a thing like this. This car was built, like I say, we built on a budget. For argument's sake, this car cost me, I'm not going to tell you what it's enough, but less than a 7R.
Okay.
Much less than a 7R.
But you don't owe the bank anything on this car.
No, sure, but some of those guys don't either. But yes, we don't owe the bank.
I think more than 50% do.
Might, but we owe the wife. You know, we owe the wife.
Yes.
Because the wife's the one that's bringing coffee, and he's lying in the bed there and hearing the grinders work until 12 o'clock at night, and tomorrow morning 7 or 8 o'clock you're back in and grinding again. So you owe the wife, and I think that's worse than owing the bank. The way I see it is, I'd rather be one of the faster with the H patterns than the slowest of the drag gearboxes, and that's what it is. I don't have the facility, the banking facilities or the financials to go there, so that's why I don't go there. To go there is easy. Go buy a box, go there. When you break the box, it's 40, 50k.
But there'll always be a goal faster than you.
100%, maybe. Wayne's going to thrive on that one. Wayne's going to thrive on that one because Wayne, Wayne van der Nest, he loves that golf, that little red thing. There's guys out there that no one will always, look, everyone's different. No one will, there's no way everyone can always agree on one thing. There's no way. But there's certain mediums.
The world will be boring.
Yes, 100%. But there's certain mediums where you look at things where most of our racing is based on Street Outlaws nowadays. On the channel, everyone started seeing this, and it's based on that. So there's a stipulation there's a guideline of rules there. It's not there for free. Use it because it works.